Looks like we're live. Let's see here if we get the chat working. Hello, I am Drew Badger, the founder of EnglishAnyone.com and the English Fluency Guide. It is a pleasure to welcome you to another live video here on YouTube. And today we're going to be talking about the word on. Now, I know this might be a simple thing that you probably know. Drew, I already know the word on, and yes, it is a pretty easy word. But what you'll find in native communication is that even a simple word like this has many useful uses. So we're going to talk about some of those in this video. I'm not even going to cover all of them because there are so many, but hopefully you enjoy the video. If you do, click the like button and let other people know that this video is going on right now. So I will keep an eye on the chat. Nice to see you there. Oh, Dran is back. Sup, Drew. Nice to see you there. Tom is there also. Good evening, Teacher Drew. Yes, it is morning for me, maybe evening wherever you happen to be. But hopefully you're excited to get going. I will keep an eye on chat. It looks like people are coming in. Nice to see everybody there. But we'll get right into it. And if you have questions, I will come back and answer those after I go through. All right. So what I wanted to talk about again is just the word on. And really there are many. You might even know some or even many of these examples, but hopefully they will feel a lot better for you as we go through them, and you will notice, wow, that the word on is actually quite versatile, so you can use it in many different situations. And this is another thing, another reason why we really want to cover things in detail rather than just learn a translation in your native language, because yes, you might have something simple like the pen is on my hand or on my head, but we also want to use it for many other things. That way, even if you only know one word, you can still use it in many different situations. All right, so happy to see everybody there. Let's get started. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the idea of something happening. All right, so on, make sure I can put this up a little bit. I've got new markers, better markers today. So we'll put on up here. Okay, that's fitting in. So the first one we'll talk about is like something occurring or happening. To happen. And again, these are native ways of expressing this, so maybe you've heard natives use these before, or if you have not, you can start using them yourself. So the most basic usage of this is where we have something like is it on. So instead of asking is something happening, we can say is it on? So this just means like you can think about on just like a light switch, like the cap of the marker is on, so on and off. And then we have here like asking if something is on, like is the party on, is the meeting on, is the class on, or is the class not on? All right. So when we're using this, we can, again, it's very, very useful even just talking about is something happening. Like instead of asking if there is a meeting happening next week, you can say, is next week's meeting on? Is the meeting on? Now, of course, you might get the idea that we can also use off. And you'll see most of the examples we'll cover today, you can use both of those. So you can understand this more like a native. I'm sorry, the meeting is off for tomorrow. The meeting for tomorrow is off. So the meeting is on or the meeting is off. So we can ask someone or we can tell someone, hey, the meeting is on tomorrow. Or the lunch, or we can ask someone, like you can talk to a friend, are we on for tomorrow? So are we on for tomorrow? So are we meeting? Are we doing something? Maybe you and I have a plan to go to the zoo tomorrow or going to a restaurant or something. So I call you, maybe we made that plan a week ago and I just want to confirm that. So I say, hey, are we on for tomorrow? Or are we still on? So if you know, if we both know what we're talking about, are we on for tomorrow? Are we on for tomorrow? Let me see, making sure this makes sense. Yes, there's lots of phrasal verbs, Julian, that also use the word on. So this is even covering something more basic. It's really just talking about different uses of the word on. And as you go through these different uses, you will notice many connections between all of them. All right. So are we still on for tomorrow, or is something happening? So again, the meeting or the some kind of event, maybe the day at the park is not on for tomorrow anymore, all right? So often you will hear this, like, are we on for whatever that thing is? Are we on for something? On for something. Okay. I want to keep moving along here as we go through these different examples, but I'll keep an eye on the chat and see if anybody has any questions. But hopefully this should be pretty easy. It's more, think about it just like a light switch. Like, yes, it's active, it's on, we're doing that thing, or it's off. We are not doing that thing. All right. So similar idea, just like there's a connection somehow. Okay. All right. Next, related to this, we're going to talk about like display and activation. So similar idea, talking about displaying something. And don't worry about trying to remember these categories. These are just my ideas for making these up. You won't find these in a textbook or anything. But this is how natives would think about these things. All right. So in terms of thinking about something like a display, like we're going to talk about me right now, like I am on the screen. So on or off the screen. The S-C-R-E-E-N, off screen. So right now, whoop, I'm off screen. But now I'm back. I'm on screen again. I'm on screen. All right. So the same thing, I'm on camera. I'm on camera. So I'm being displayed by the camera. You can see me. I'm being shown. So I'm on camera. Whoa. I'm off camera. All right. Pretty easy. So anytime you have something like display, like right now, I have some writing on the board. Okay. Remember that even when we have just the physical idea of on, like we have again the marker cap on the marker, I also have a shirt on. So you can have something attached not just on the top of it, but on any side, really. Like we have something on the front. So my shirt is really, it's on me, but it's really all over my body up here, the top part of my body. So I can have some writing on the screen or something on the screen. I can have me on the screen as well. Pretty easy. All right. Same thing we might have on or off at a restaurant. The menu. So you can ask a waiter, like, what's on the menu tonight? Or kind of more specifically, what's on special? So usually if you go to a restaurant, they might have like some food they're trying to sell maybe at a discount or some very popular thing that lots of people enjoy and they want to sell that or something. So they might say like, oh, this is on special tonight. This is on special tonight. All right. So it just means it's like active, we're displaying it, it's available, and the same kind of thing that you might be on for meeting someone, all right? So something is on screen on the menu, like I might have a physical menu, like just like I have a board over here. Same idea. So I have writing on the board, but if this is a menu, I might talk about what's physically on the menu, but even if you don't have a physical menu like this or a piece of paper, it's just what's available. So what's on the menu? What's on the menu? All right, what's on special? And now the same thing you might have for a calendar or a schedule, the same thing. So let's say I have my calendar days over here. So this is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe I'm doing something on Monday, so it's on the schedule. On the schedule. Again, just like I'm physically putting something up here, I might have something on my schedule, but even if I don't have a physical piece of paper, I can still talk about it in the same way. All right. So if it's on Tuesday, on Wednesday, the same thing. So it's on my calendar. Now this is an interesting thing you might hear from natives, like in my calendar or on my calendar. Often people will have a calendar book. And so when they talk about something being in their calendar, the idea is like it's almost inside the book on some kind of page. But you can use either of those expressions. So I have something in my calendar or I have something on my calendar. It's just, again, a different way of a native thinking about these things. All right, hopefully everyone is getting these. I don't see any questions about this, but nice to see everybody asking questions. All right, I'll come back to those in a minute. All right. Next, we're going to talk about operating a tool. So maybe you've heard about this before. So some kind of operation or duty, like you are doing something, it's your responsibility. We'll just call this like operation. So to operate something. So we might have like some kind of, might begin with like instruments. So if you've ever played in a band or you've gone to a concert or something, and you will hear the introduction of the different people playing different instruments, whatever. So here's this guy, he's got his drumsticks and some drums over here. So we might say this guy is on drums. It just means he is the person responsible, he is the person operating the drums. All right? And you can go through basically every instrument in an orchestra or in a band and talk about the same thing. So someone like, I'm on the piano. I'm on the piano. So on piano or on the piano, you can say both of those things. Or on the trumpet or whatever that thing is. All right, so it's the same kind of idea of operating a tool like that. Even if you were singing, you could be on the mic or on vocals. So if you are singing, I'm on vocals. I am the one singing on vocals. Okay, so on drums, on piano, on the mic, like you might be rapping, hey, I'm on the mic tonight, I'm on the mic. So I'm the one controlling that thing, operating that thing. Okay. Yes, working on a project is another, like to work on that phrasal verb. Yes, you can use that as well. All right. But I really want to give these, it's just a whole bunch of very simple, where we don't even need a phrasal verb. We're just talking about like on something, but in a slightly different way. Okay, so these are the way natives would be describing this. Like, I wouldn't say like, who is playing the piano tonight? I would say, who's on piano? Who's on piano? In the same way that you might have like a physical location, like I'm on the corner, like that same thing. I'm like, this is my position, or this is my responsibility. I'm operating that thing. Okay, so again, keyboard, any kind of instrument you could think of, really we can talk about being on that thing. All right, now you might also have a machine, so if you work at a factory, you would have a similar kind of thing, like I'm on the press, or on the drill, or the saw, or whatever that thing is. So if I'm physically operating that thing, like, oh, where is Johnny? Where is, my friend Tom or whatever? Oh, he's on the press. Okay, so that means like he's working on that thing, or he's responsible for that thing, to work on that thing. All right, hopefully these are making sense. Can I say I'm on my guitar? If you're only playing your guitar by yourself, this is typically, we talk about like on something when we have a group of people. Like right now I've got like 5 or 6 people in a band, and I'm introducing them, and so you are on guitar or on the guitar, but typically we would say like on guitar. So on guitar we have Julian, on bass we have Jack, on drums we have Lisa. So we're just talking about the different people in a group. But if you're just sitting at home playing, like you can say like, yeah, I'm playing the guitar. Typically we would use that. All right, good question though. But you notice this is how we learn as we have more questions about the language. As we get those questions answered, we feel more confident about using the language. This is how natives learn the language, learning English as a first language. Good work. All right, let's see here. Let's see, only Moroccan here. There might be, you never know. You never know who's watching. All right, so again, I might even be like in a war situation. Here we have a guy. So what would this guy be doing? Let's say he's got like a big gun over here. So he's on whatever kind of gun, like he's on the machine gun. All right, so if you have a couple of different people, this guy's on the laser, this guy's on the spread weapon, this guy's on a different kind of gun. All right, so you're operating that thing. So right now I'm on it, like I'm doing it. So we can describe that as like, are you responsible for this thing right now? Like I'm on it. So if you're going to do a job, look how easy that is. If you, instead of saying I am responsible or I will do that, just say I'm on it. I'm on it. I will take responsibility. I will do that thing. So who will play the drums tonight? Like, oh, I'm on it. Who will sweep the floor tonight? Oh, I'm on it. Who will work or operate the press? I'm on it. I will do it. Pretty easy. So you don't need to know a lot of difficult vocabulary to express some really interesting things. Look, it's 2 letters, O-N. Oh, very, very simple, very simple. All right. All right, now, similarly to this, we talk about making connections with something. So we might have a connection like being, like, are you on the phone? So are you on the phone? Or yeah, I'm on the phone right now. I'm on the phone, on the phone, on the phone. So right now I'm operating that thing. So this is similar to the, like the previous example where we're talking about operating something. So I'm on the phone right now, just like I might be on the press. I'm on the phone. So I'm talking, I'm on kind of a connection. But you see, this is also related, like I'm on with someone. So I'm on with, and then the person's name. So right now, like I'm speaking with you. So I'm on with you. I'm on with you. I'm on the phone. I'm making a connection. On with you. All right. I think this is making sense. If this is interesting for people, let me know in the chat. I want to make sure people understand this and really get the idea that you should be excited about this. Because again, you can take something very simple and then use it in so many interesting ways. All right. Let me know if this is making sense. All right. So another thing we can talk about, like being connected with someone just like this right now. I am on or off the air. So on the air, like you can imagine me kind of floating. So right now I am in Japan and you are wherever else you are. Maybe some of you are in Japan as well. I think I saw Tsubasa in the chat before. But you can be on or off in the same way. So I'm connected with you guys. Like right now I'm live, I am on the air. So if you are watching this later, when the video is finished, then I am off the air, off the air. And this is the same thing we might talk about for radio or television or the internet, same thing. So if anytime you have some kind of connection, a broadcast, so I'm sending a signal from me to you. So right now I'm on the air, I'm on the radio, or I'm off the radio. So right now I'm speaking to you, I'm on the radio, or I'm on TV, or I'm on the internet. This is why we talk about being online. So we got on line. So I've got a connection with you. And similarly, offline. So if I'm offline, after I've finished a conversation with people, I'm not connected anymore. I'm not online right now. I'm offline. Now, one thing I will say, like if you're talking about being in some kind of like on TV, you're being interviewed or something like that. Typically, we will talk about seeing something on TV or seeing it like you're watching something right now. So you're watching it on the screen or on the internet or on the computer. But in TV or in newspapers and magazines, things like that, just like I gave the calendar book example before, we talk about in. So you saw something in like a book or magazine, thing like that. So you saw something in that. So you saw something on TV, but you read it or saw it in a book. All right. You can kind of think about the physical object that way. So a screen, there's like something on it, but in the book, you're looking at something inside, like you could close the book up. All right. Looks like no questions. This is pretty easy, pretty easy. All right, next we're going to do a whole bunch of talking about work and professions. So what do we do while we're working? So So in a basic sense, when you're talking about work, like, are you physically working right now or are you not? All right. So I'm on or off, as in right now, like right now I'm on work, like I'm on. Okay. Or maybe I'm finished, like if I'm working a regular job, like I'm working at a restaurant or a hotel or an office, I can say like I'm on right now. Like it's my shift, it's my turn, it's my duty, it's my time to work. So in a similar way, you can be on or off a shift depending on the kind of hours you work. Typically, we talk about this for people who have like a set time when they work. So if you're working like from 9 a.m. To 3 at a restaurant, then you might have like a particular shift time. Like this time you are on, then you have a break, so you are off shift right now, and then you have another time when you're on the shift. All right? But you can say it even more simply, just say like, I'm on right now. I'm on. Okay? So you can ask someone, like we talked about the calendar example before, like tomorrow, let's say you need to change your time of working with a friend of yours. You just ask them, hey, are you on tomorrow? Are you working tomorrow? So are you on tomorrow? Or are you off tomorrow? So just like off, like I'm not working, I'm off. It's pretty easy, all right? So look at this, like all these different words, they really just mean on. All right, but we just, you can use maybe something more specific or something a bit more advanced if you like, but it's not necessary. All right. Well, Fabio says you are tan. Yes, I'm getting a little bit more tan. I'm out in, it's summertime in Nagasaki, Japan, and I walk around outside a lot. All right, any questions about this? Pretty simple, right? Before I drop my cap over here. So we are on or we are off. So if I want to maybe trade shifts with someone, so if I'm working tomorrow and you are working on Thursday, I say, hey, can we switch? So I'm on tomorrow, but I'm busy. I'd like to be off tomorrow. So I don't want to be on, I want to be off. All right, just like you're off work or on work, same idea. All right. Now another similar thing. So again, shift. You can also use this for doctors or nurses. Again, anytime people have like a specific time that they're working. All right. And so another way we could describe this, like specifically for doctors and nurses, would be on call. So on call means I might not be like physically at a location or something, but if someone calls me, then I have to be ready to work. All right, like a firefighter or something, a similar kind of thing. All right, so I'm on call. We don't really use the phrase off call, but we do talk about being on call when it's your responsibility to work. So at some point, I might not be physically working right now, but I'm on call. So if I have a job, like I'm a doctor or a nurse, then maybe I'm relaxing, I'm taking a break. Like right now, I'm just relaxing, but if someone calls me, then I'm on. So I need to go answer that. All right, on call. Now, similarly, we can talk about like the team or the group of people. Like this could be for a work team or a physical, like athletic team. So I'm on the baseball team, or I'm on the trust and safety team at work. So I deal with, particular things. So I can talk about being like in that group. So this is a slightly different use. It means the same thing. Usually we talk about being in a group, but on or off a team. So we wouldn't say I'm like in a team. It would like sound a little bit funny. But we do say on a team or in a group. And these are the little things about the language that you learn as you hear them again and again. All right. So we might also have, in a similar way, like being on call for something, we can be on patrol. On patrol. So patrol meaning like it's your duty, but to patrol, like you're walking around, making sure things are okay. I'm on patrol right now. I'm on patrol. My two daughters watch the show Paw Patrol, which I recommend if you want to learn with some actually interesting English. It's a little bit challenging. There's some nice simple things in there for kids, but some other interesting things for adults as well. So they say like Paw Patrol is on, like they're working right now. Like we're on patrol, same thing. Now we might, in a very basic way, talking about a job. Now this could be an actual job you have, or you're just describing something. So right now, like, hey, I came to teach, I am on the job, I'm on the job. So it just means I'm right now working. So even if it doesn't need to be like a physical thing you're doing, you're just working right now. I'm on the job. All right. So on, just like we have like on shift or on patrol or on the job or on call, same idea. We can also have to be on the case. Now this comes more from police work where people have like a case file, like a file folder of information about, some crime that happened. And so if someone is on the case, like a police officer might say the same thing. Yes, I'm on the job right now. So I'm physically working, but I'm also working specifically on this thing. So you can use on the job for talking about anything. I could be wrapping a Christmas present and my wife says, hey, are you wrapping that present? And I say, yes, I'm on the job. It means right now I'm doing it. I'm on the job. All right, so very, very useful. I'm on the job. So on the job, on the case, I'm on the case. Again, even though it's from police work, I can still use this in everyday conversations. So my wife, again, hey, did you clean the goldfish tank? Yes, I'm on the case. I'm doing it right now. Okay. So I could be working on something or looking for something right now, just like a police officer looking for clues. Maybe I lost my glasses. I don't remember where I put them, and I find them. I'm looking for them right now. I'm on the case. So my wife says, what are you doing? I'm on the case of my missing glasses. I'm on the case of my missing glasses. All right, so I'm trying to find, just like a police officer, the same kind of thing. And I think this is a good point to add right here. You'll notice that vocabulary will sometimes come from a particular thing, like sports or, in this case, police work, something, but then it starts being used in the broader population. So lots of people begin using that word or expression. So this is why it's important to understand and be open to vocabulary no matter where it's coming from. So you don't want to say like, oh, I don't like sports. I'm not interested in sports. It doesn't really matter if you like sports or not. Maybe you don't want to go to some sporting event, or maybe you don't like this or that. But often the vocabulary gets mixed between these different things. So something from sports goes into war or relationships or business or something else. And so the more you know, the more you are understanding and you're able to have better conversations and use those same kind of expressions. All right. So let's say we're not working. I might be on strike. To be on strike. So instead of working, this is usually when we have a group of people, like a union, so a union of people, a union of workers, and they go on strike because they're not going to work until they get better pay or more benefits or something like that. So they're kind of fighting with the company to get, whatever, more of whatever they want. So you can be on strike. I'm striking right now. So either I'm on the job or on strike. So we can talk about being off strike as well, like after something is finished, like, are you guys still on strike or is that off? So you ask someone, hey, are you on strike or not? Or are you off? All right. But on strike, you will hear that much more frequently. Same thing we can talk about. I think somebody else mentioned this in the chat. Let's see here. Let's see. So again, just mentioned on strike for if you're not working. We can also talk about on vacation. Similar thing. I'm on vacation right now. So when I'm not working, like my younger, or both of my daughters actually started their summer vacation today. They just started. So now they are on vacation. So even if I'm home relaxing or whatever, I'm not going out, I don't need to be traveling somewhere in order to do that. I'm just on vacation. All right. You can also be on leave. Now, this is a little bit tricky depending on the situation. You might be on leave like you're taking a vacation kind of from a company, or not just a company, but it could be like an academic situation like a school, like a university, or you could be in a profession like, again, a doctor or a nurse or something. So to be on leave, like this could be a good thing or a bad thing. Like maybe you did something wrong and they put you on leave. So maybe like you're on leave without pay. So maybe they don't want you there, like you did something bad at work or the school or something, and so they put you, so to be put on leave. So you can talk about that as yourself, like, oh, they put me on leave. So you can just leave maybe by yourself. You're taking just a slight break from school or whatever that thing is. I'm on leave right now. All right. It just depends on the situation, if it's a positive, good thing or not. And when you are on vacation, you might be on a trip. On a trip. I'm on a trip right now. On a trip. So I'm physically, maybe I'm traveling on a train or I'm just on vacation. Right now I'm in Japan, but tomorrow maybe I go to Australia. And I don't need to be physically moving to be on a trip. It just means I'm, not home. So I'm on a trip. I'm on a business trip, the same thing, even if you're not working. So on a trip or on a journey. On a journey. We don't really say I'm on a travel. You wouldn't really say that, but you could say trip or journey. If you want to use the word travel, you can just say I'm traveling. I'm traveling right now. Again, you don't need to be physically moving to travel. It's just where you're, someplace that's different from your normal home or work. Another thing, you could be on an adventure. To be on an adventure. All right, looks like the chat. Yes, and so that's another one. Julianne has another good example. So that's to be on some kind of diet. So that's slightly related to this, but you can see how, look at this, all these different uses of just using the word on. And then you've also got off, all right? We don't really talk about being off a trip or off a journey or off an adventure. Usually the adventure is just that thing. I'm on that right now. But yes, you can be on a particular diet, all right? So we'll just add this up here. Let's see, what kind of category would we call that? So to be on, see if I had any more for these. And if you have more examples, you can put them in the chat. So let's see, what else might we have? We could be on a diet. On a diet. Or I could be on a program. So I could be on an exercise program. I'm on a program at work, I'm supposed to be doing some kind of thing. So an exercise program, a work program. So I'm on a diet, or I'm on a specific kind of diet, like a vegan diet or a fruit-only diet, something like that. I'm on, what else? We could be on meds. So meds or medication. I'm on medication right now. So it just means you can think about yourself being kind of physically on these things in the same way, even though you're taking it like you're eating some kind of food. It just means you're of the different things you could be on, different groups. So you're standing here oh, now I'm on a diet. So I'm doing this thing, or I'm now on some medication. And the similar thing, again, you can use off. So right now I'm not on a diet. I just went off my diet. I just went off that program, I just went off medication. So I was on medication. So right now I'm on medication. Now I get off medication. So I got off medication. All right. Isn't that interesting? Pretty good, right? On a roll. There you go. On leave, on my own. Look at that. You guys is everybody coming out with some excellent phrases over here. On a treatment. Yes, you could say that as well. So you could be on something, but notice, isn't this amazing? Isn't this interesting how it's just one word that you can use for all these different things? So something might be happening, or I'm displaying something, I'm operating something, or again, I could be like in a particular position, doing something maybe to my body or something else like that. All right. And the last ones I thought I would cover, because these are very common ways that you can talk about feeling good or feeling bad. I bet you can figure out how to express this. I'm on. I'm feeling good tonight. I'm on. So you can say I'm on or I'm feeling on. In the same way, if you're not, maybe you're feeling kind of nervous, you don't really know, something feels a little bit weird, you could be feeling off. Something feels off. Something doesn't feel quite right. So on usually means it's like you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, powerful. I'm feeling on. I'm feeling on today for this video. Woo, I'm on today. But maybe I'm kind of off now. Ugh, I don't know. All right. And similarly, you can talk about like your ability to do something. So like my game is on. Or my game is like on today. So my game meaning like my ability to do something. So like my teaching game, or actually if you're talking about playing a sport, like your ability to play basketball or baseball or whatever, you can talk about, yeah, my game is on tonight. Like I'm shooting the basketball, feels really good. I'm feeling on tonight. My game is really on tonight. And similarly, you can talk about your game being off. Oh no, yeah, my game was off tonight. So you see maybe a basketball player giving an interview after the game and like, yeah, my game felt a little bit off tonight. My game felt a little bit off tonight. So they're talking about themselves, but like my game, my ability to play or my skill or whatever that thing is. On duty, yes, same thing. I'm on it, on my way, we're moving on. Yes, to move on, that's a phrasal verb to continue, doing something to move on. But this video, I really wanted to just focus on the absolute most basic uses of on. So really we have something like being physically connected, like on top of something or stuck to it. Like, oh no, I've got something on my face. Oh no, something on my face. I've got a shirt on, so I'm wearing something. But these are the more native ways of using this where you really can say almost anything with just using the word on. All right, so that's all the things that I wanted to cover about this. I didn't want to make a long video, just wanted to take maybe half an hour and talk about these things. But hopefully, has this been entertaining for you? Would you like to see more of these or not? Let me know. And if there are specific things you would like to know about or other questions you have about whatever, we can talk about that right now. All right. Oh, and we got I'm on fire before I used to make mistakes. Well, that's a different one there. Before I used to, so you could say I use. And this is a common thing about English pronunciation. And this is why it's helpful to have subtitles when you're watching movies or to read things. Like I used to do something, whatever. So I used to, let me write this better for you. U-S-E-D. Now it says used to, but typically when we have, this is our one rule for pronunciation, we want to eliminate this, so it just sounds like used to. So I used to do something. So it sounds to a non-native speaker like we don't have a D there. When we write it, we do have the D, but when we pronounce it, I used to do something. And the to is more like it's like use, duh. So I used to do something. I used to do something. Isn't that interesting? You probably have something similar in your native language, but when we have the same sound, we don't want to repeat that twice. I used to. Nobody says that. That takes too long to say. So I used to. I used to. So just be careful. Remember that when native children are learning the language, they begin with the sounds, not the words. So they learn later when they go to school, like, oh, like kids will write, I used to do something, because that's how they hear it. They don't think about the D in there. So they have the same problem that a lot of learners do. All right, let's see if anybody else has some other ones. Let's see, I think I saw on fire, which is another good one, to be on fire. Now we might have a physical thing, like I don't know, put this marker, the marker is on fire, but I can also talk about myself being, yes, I'm on a roll, I'm on fire. It means I'm doing like a good job, I'm feeling good right now, or I'm operating something well or performing well. I'm on fire. Ooh, I've got a lot of good ideas today. I'm on fire today. I'm on fire, on fire. So on duty, I think we saw this. Let's see, Jay Jep says, hi, Drew. Is there any change for a live class chatting one day so we can all practice to talk with you guiding us? Is there any change for you? Do you mean like a chance? Do you mean a chance for something? Typically, like people overestimate, so they worry too much about being able to speak, and they don't spend enough time like really going deep into vocabulary, and that's really why they struggle to speak. So people think that they need a lot of practice, that you need like a teacher there to explain something to you, but you don't do that with a song on the radio. So if you're listening to something, you don't wait for like the singer of the song to come to your house and correct the music or whatever. You just listen to the song again and again, or you hear other people singing it, and as you hear that, that's where your understanding improves and you start being able to do that correctly yourself. So usually what like the traditional way people learn languages is they will get like a very short amount of time learning something. Like you might get like 5 minutes or something like that. And it's even shorter with a YouTube video typically. So one YouTube video might be like, here are 30 phrases about whatever, all right? And so maybe you get like a minute about, you know, each one of these things. And then it's just like, all right, now spend 2 hours trying to practice that. But that doesn't really mean anything to people. It's like, okay, what do you mean practice? How should I be practicing that? And what you really should be doing, it should be the opposite of this. So the traditional way is like learning and then speaking over here. But what you should be doing is the opposite, where you spend most of your time learning, and then like when you understand the language really well, like what we're doing today, we're just focusing on one word, but you're learning all of these different uses of it. Okay, it's one word, and it's almost the shortest word in the dictionary. It's almost like oh, you know, can't get much shorter than that. All right, so as you spend a lot of time learning something, and this means not only hearing the vocabulary, but also hearing it from other people or seeing it in different, like from different speakers, that kind of thing. That way you understand it really well, so the speaking is automatic. You just start speaking after that because the speaking part is really easy. The thing that stops people from speaking is they don't feel confident because there are some questions or doubts they have about expressing something. So don't worry about looking for people to practice, or you need someone to like improve your pronunciation or whatever. It's much better for you. You can do this all by yourself, and it's much faster if you hear 5 different people pronounce something. Okay, so rather than like trying to listen to only my pronunciation, you should be hearing lots of different people. This is why we do this in Fluent for Life. All right, so if we have a lot of time spent understanding something, my confidence increases because I know it. Then when I get into the conversation, it's much easier to communicate. So don't worry about like having someone there to practice with you. Like it seems like that would be what you need, but it's just because you don't really know the language very well. All right. Now, if you know all of these uses and you can use them fluently, you probably don't need to watch any lessons at all. You're already fluent. All right. But if you don't know a lot of these things, or you know them, but maybe you just don't feel so confident about them, you just need more practice with them. That's it. And once you answer those questions, you get that aha moment. Ah, yes, now I understand something. Now I feel confident about using it fluently. All right. Yes. Abraham says, I'm on a field trip. I'm going to go back in like reverse order these. Matter of practice and vocabulary. Sometimes I run out of words and get stuck. Yes, you would say get stuck rather than stucked. You can just say get stuck in general. So I get stuck. Now remember, part of that, like people think they're running out of words. And this is an interesting way to express it. It's like they're talking about something for a while and then like they can't, I don't know, would you like a video about that, about how to not run out of words? I know it seems like a kind of funny idea, but part of the reason I wanted to make this video is because we can take something like on and show you how many varied uses it has. Okay? So pretty easy. And so you don't need to think about like running out of vocabulary. I'd love to see more people like in that situation just to see examples of how that works. So like if we think about like you're talking about something and maybe you can't remember the specific words you want to say for that, like you're looking for specific kinds of words. Often it's because you learned maybe one way to say something rather than knowing a bunch of different ways. So I explained this in, I think, what was that? Was that my last video maybe, I think? So when I was talking about people being overwhelmed by trying to learn a lot of vocabulary, and they're trying to become like expertly fluent in all of these different things, when what really happens is like you have, if you think about your native language, you have the basic vocabulary you use, like you might know all this, but you only use a little bit of your vocabulary. And you just say the same things again and again in your everyday conversations. So you don't need to worry about like all these other things. You might know that information, so you understand it when other people are speaking. But for you, you can just use a same, few things when you're like same few expressions or topics or whatever it is you're talking about. And you will get very good at speaking about those things. All right, smash that like button, yes. Or push it gently. Put your finger on the like button or click on the like button. Let's see. Fabio Dennis says, you skip my question. You used to say you skipped my question. Yes, I'm kind of skipping around right now because I'm not doing these order. Let's see. I would like to buy the book Switch. Okay. Is that a question? You mean like a book called Switch? Or are you talking about like the Chip and Dan Heath book? All right, can I learn my language 6 months from beginner to upper than average? Can I learn my language? You mean can you learn English that quickly? You can look. If you have a good teacher and good input, and like even if you didn't have a teacher, you would still need to organize all the information you need. But yes, you can become a very good speaker if you have that information all organized. It would be possible, but it's from like absolute beginner to higher level. That would be a little bit difficult. Like in other languages, I don't know what information or classes are available for that. But whatever you're doing, you should be, so in any language, you should be learning that language as a first language, all right? As a first language. Not trying to learn it through your native language, but learning it as a first language. And if you do that, then you can start speaking better. So I'm stuck below average. Typically that means like you might be good at some things, but not good at others. So try to be more specific about the thing you're struggling with. If you just say, I'm bad at English, that's not very helpful because you don't know, what do you mean you're bad at English? Is it your pronunciation or your grammar or your vocabulary or something? If you can be specific about that, it's much easier to solve that problem. So think about that. So most people are, like they're good at some things, but not good at others. Like some people can talk about their work, their professional stuff, but they have trouble talking with people outside of work about that. All right, let me go back up and make sure I didn't miss things from earlier. All right, let's see. I'm very excited for today's classes. Tom, let's see. I'm just going to scroll through these, but thank you for all like the saying hi and hello. Nice to see everybody there. Good evening, teacher. It's 9 o'clock here in Chile as usual. It will be an interesting lesson to learn. Glad to hear it, Lewis. Let's see. What your marker is on point. Yes, yes. I got the new marker. So I brought in some markers, and everybody used them, and then they ran out of ink. So now I got some fresh ones. There are many phrasal verbs using the word on. Yes. Let's see here. Excellent style of teaching. I want to learn and improve my English speaking. Please help, sir. Alex is back. Let's see. Hi, English learners. I wish everyone here to improve your language skills. It's very polite and kind. So Hader says, Halat says, learning the 3 columns of founding vocabulary, basic rules, and practice. Hader, you are interesting because you talk about being basic, but you use like advanced vocabulary. There's a disconnect there somewhere where you like know some vocabulary, but maybe you don't really know it well enough. But it's like you study languages, but you aren't really like, I don't know, you're thinking about it too intellectually. So a lot of people, they like try to learn all the grammar, and they want to learn these like special systems or something, when you just need to understand it like a native. So if you don't understand something, it's like, maybe I need to not study a book. You just try to think about how a native would do it. And so all the lessons that I teach, it's the same thing I would teach my own kids, or I'm like explaining something to my wife at home. Same idea. All right, Tsubasa back from Kyoto. Nice to see you there. How to learn a language from zero to divorce in your way. How to learn a language from what? Again, Hader, with these interesting questions about like basic stuff, but having like high technical vocabulary. All right, really helpful, says Chai. Nice to hear it. Let's see, I'm working on that project. Hi, Andrew. Hope you are well today. I'm doing all right. All right, let's see. And I think I reviewed those already. I signed up for your program, but don't know how it works for me or not. I'm below average. Yeah, Hader, send us a mail. I want to make sure we help you get what you need. But if you're talking about like being in Fluent for Life, the simple thing is just picking one lesson set, and then you follow the daily schedule for that. So on the first day of the first lesson, you would watch maybe the grammar focus video and just watch that. And then on second day, you would just listen to the video. And on the third day, you would try just reading the transcript. And this is just to get a little bit of review, some naturally varied review in there. But you will hear, if you follow the steps, you will hear that same grammar used in different ways and by different people for 30 days. And so you will learn, improve that specific grammar point. Remember that you get fluent word by word. You don't get fluent in the whole language at one time. You don't acquire language like that. I think in my last video, I talked about it's almost like you're getting like body armor or weapons or other things like that, like in a video game. So you might have like a really good sword, but really bad armor. So that means like this vocabulary really well, but maybe this grammar point is not so good. So the point is to level up all of your vocabulary or your grammar or your pronunciation so that the whole package becomes good. So everything, maybe your pronunciation, all the things about the way you communicate become excellent if you do that. All right, but remember, you do it one thing at a time. Let's see. Where can I use on plus gerund? Give me an example. Like if you're, I'll let you. I think maybe did I skip that one? I guess. Yeah, Lewis, let me know. Give me some specific examples. Like if you're like whatever the grammar point is, and let me know. Because rather than, I don't like people thinking about like the grammar point, because you'll be in a conversation. It's like, wait a minute, on plus gerund plus this other thing. Like, it will just confuse you in a conversation. But if you think about what you're trying to express, like I'm reading or I'm on, whatever that thing is, and tell me like what is the thing you're trying to express. What is that? All right, Harold says, nice to see you again. I'm in the U.S. and my English has improved a lot. Glad to hear it. All right, so Julian says, yes, on is active, off is inactive. Yeah, it's a very, very simple way to think about it. What does it mean, furlough? You mean like F-U-R-L, I think it's F-U-R-L-O-W, I believe. Let me see. Just making sure there isn't another word or UGH. Yeah, so that would be like FURLOUGH. That means like a work break of some kind, or in the military. So the Army, you might be on furlough, some kind of vacation, or like a break or a rest. Thank you for your job, says Alex. Glad to hear it. Let's see. There you go. Somebody already answered that. All right. Harold says, yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you. Okay, you guys are answering each other. Glad to hear it. All right. I think we got all of those. Let's see. All right. And I think we're caught up. Yes, I think we got it. Okay. Drew, how do you remember the program that you mentioned in the book Switch? Do you remember the program that you mentioned in the book Switch? Fabio, you're really asking a lot. You really care about that book. What's your specific question about that? I don't remember if I mentioned that in a program or on a YouTube video or what, but what about it? If you're just looking for the book, then just, it's like Chip and Dan Heath are the authors, I believe. So search that online. And let's see. Oh no, it skipped me all the way down to the bottom. Oh no. Do you know mencionado it in one of your program? Do you? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Do I mention? Oh, do I mention it in? No, I don't remember. I don't know. What about it though? What, you have a specific question about it? Let's see. Romulo says, from Brazil, thank you for the class. I remember the useful phrases like be that as it may. Ha, you're helping a lot. So thank you. May God bless you. Glad to hear it. Yes, be that as it may. This is what I call an English fluency bit. Maybe I will do a lesson on those if people are interested in those. So this is one of the topics in Fluent for Life as well. These are the kinds of phrases that natives use. You can just kind of learn these, and it's just like a phrase you can insert into a conversation that just, it sounds a lot more interesting than just like however or but, you know. So I might say, oh, it's raining today, and my friend says, well, be that as it may. So even if it's raining, so be that as it may, we'll go out to the picnic anyway. Be that as it may. Let's see. And Harold says, a funny thing about listening to you is that I can clearly understand everything you say, but when going to Dunkin' Donuts, I can't understand the crew members sometimes. Yes. So this is actually isn't funny. It's a very easy explanation about why this is. It's because I'm speaking clearly. I want to be understood, but a lot of people are not speaking that way. They don't care, or they're not thinking about it, or they just think they're speaking with natives. So just like the example before about I used to. So I'm speaking clearly. Other natives can understand what I'm saying. If I say, yeah, I used to do that. I used to do that. So it sounds like use. It's like used to do that. I used to do that. So I don't do that anymore. I used to do that. I used to do that, but I don't anymore. So it will be tricky for you to understand natives, and this is why in Fluent for Life, we take you from understanding someone like me, who's being clearly, or trying to clearly communicate so you understand what I'm saying, and then move you up to the native level. So you have to get lots of examples. You need to hear me say something. I used to do something, just so you understand what the words are. I used to do something. But then you work up to, oh, yeah, I used to do that. I used to do that. And you hear that from different speakers, and then when you're in the Dunkin' Donuts and you're talking to the crew back there, say, hey, I used to do that. I understand what you guys are saying now. Let me get some donuts. Let me get some donuts. So let me get some donuts. But that's it. So it's just that the language that most people learn in a YouTube video, like an English lesson, is supposed to be clear. Some of it is like comically easy. This is actually a good word for you guys. Comically. Actually, I don't know. Make sure I'm spelling that correctly. Yes. Sometimes I have to check myself whenever I spell like publicly wrong or whatever. But comically, it's like you will watch some YouTube videos that are teaching English, especially older ones. It's like, hello, how are you? Now, what's interesting about these videos is like they will often teach like difficult vocabulary, but teach it slowly. So like yesterday, I was standing around contemplating life. And they're speaking really slowly about something, but there's a disconnect between the speed and the vocabulary itself. So yeah, I'm just saying all this to remember that you need to go through a series of steps if you want to understand native speakers. So if you go into Dunkin' Donuts and you can't understand people, they're probably speaking quite clearly, but it's just not clearly for you. So I would understand them if I go into Dunkin' Donuts, but you would not. Let's see. So Fabio again, Drew, you once mentioned the book Switch in one of your classes. Yes, I understand. What is your point, though? You keep mentioning that. And let's see. And I'm like, bro, I can understand my teacher perfectly, but not these guys. Yeah. So again, this should not be a mystery for people. And lots of people have made videos about, people continue to make videos about this same issue. It's like, why do you understand teachers but not understand natives? It's like, because they speak differently. That's it. That's the main reason. All right, let's see. Ilder says, I listen to different accents from YouTube, and it takes less and less time for adoption of it to signal improved naturally varied review as well. Yes. So again, naturally varied review, one way of doing this is to listen to the same speech, whatever that is. It could be a poem or someone talking about something. You hear that done by different people, so that will get you used to different accents, like you're listening to different songs or the same song sung by different people. But you can also hear different people talking about the same thing, even if they don't use the exact same words, like I show in the espresso video that I made. Same idea. Let's see, Fabio. Yes, I used to smoke. All right. Juan says, hey, Drew, prepositions are by far, in my opinion, the hardest part of the English language to master. Would you mind doing a class on the preposition over someday? Well, we'll see. If this video is entertaining, if people enjoy this, click the like button if this has been helpful and send it to other people. I try to make content on YouTube that people will enjoy and more people will benefit from. So it just depends if people like this or not. I like to try different things and see what's helpful for people. But yes, prepositions can be quite difficult, but you'll notice if you spend time focusing on something, you just spend a little bit longer, 20 minutes, 30 minutes learning about just one thing, you will be surprised at how much more confident you feel. And so you notice you've learned to talk about lots of different things, talking about work, talking about plans, talking about like operating different tools or how you feel, all with the word on. So rather than trying to learn like 100 different words, you just learn one word and know that word really well. So spend more time on the information. Let's see. Let me get some donuts. Yes, let me get some donuts. Let me get some donuts. I used to enjoy, I would go, back when I lived in Chicago, I would go get some Dunkin' Donuts occasionally. We would get the donut hole. I don't know if they still call those munchkins anymore. But I would get like a box of those. Those are pretty tasty. I'd say, yeah, let me get 60. Let me get 200 munchkins and like watch them like try to like pick all like, yeah, let me get 10 of like the jelly ones, 10, like that. So let me get. That's again a very, it's not impolite, but it's a very, very casual way of saying something. So I might go into Dunkin' Donuts or anywhere and I say, may I have this? Or you can say, I'd like, so I would like this. But you could just say, like, can I get? So we're getting, the grammar gets worse, the pronunciation gets worse as you get less and less formal with the vocabulary. And then just, hey, give me some donuts. Give me some donuts. Today you wore a different shirt, white, also fantastic shirt. You were looking fabulous. Yes, you'll be Genshin, my wardrobe person. I found this. I was like, hey, I haven't worn a white shirt like ever on these videos. Let me wear a white shirt. So I'm not just wearing black. I think people might watch my videos and think every video is the same because I've got like 3 shirts. So I don't do anything. I need to make better thumbnails. If someone wants to try making some thumbnails for our videos, please do. And I'd love to see if those like do better than the ones we have. Let's see. And Lalu says, I got stuck in the middle of a conversation and presentation when I used English bro. Now you probably want a comma before the bro if you're like referring to me or if you're talking about something else. But yes, this happens to people. But let me know specifically. I'd love to know more when people get stuck about a specific thing. Is it because you're trying to think of a specific word and you get stuck, or something else? Let me know in the comments, and maybe I can make a video specifically about that. But most of this comes from, it's really just how you learn. So people get stuck because they're learning English as a second language rather than learning it as a first language. So they don't understand it like a native. So what happens with natives is they learn many different ways of expressing something, just like we're learning in this video. Or we might learn how one word has many different uses, just like we're learning in this video. So the more you learn like that, the more you will become like a native and speak fluently. Let's see, Balasubramanian, hello from India. Best tutor for me, glad to hear it. Julian, again, to understand native people, it's mandatory to learn the most common phrasal verbs. Otherwise, you can't understand the conversation. Yes, phrasal verbs are very important. You will have those in conversations a lot. This is why we cover them in a complete program called the Visual Guide to Phrasal Verbs, which is also in Fluent for Life. Fabio, oh, looks like that's a question for Fabio. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Okay, gotcha. All right, what is your favorite cigar talk for 60? What is your favorite cigar talk for 60 seconds? Is that you're asking me? Is that like a challenge for me to talk about something for 60 seconds? I remember an interesting conversation. It was like a class assignment, a similar kind of thing, where in elementary school, students had to speak for 60 seconds about a particular topic that someone else chose for them. And I remember one kid, he was so shy, he just came up and he stood in front of the class and just kind of turned around like this for 1 minute. I felt really bad for that kid. But I can try to talk about whatever. I mean, I don't actually know much about cigars, but this is an interesting thing. If someone gives me a topic, I talk about this in my program called Speak Like Me. Does anyone out there have the Native Fluency Blueprint or Fluent for Life? If you do, you have access to Speak Like Me in that program. But one of the things I talk about is like, let's say someone gives me a topic, or I'm just in a conversation with other people talking about that. So the question or topic in this case is cigars. And for me, there are lots of different ways I could begin talking about that. So if it's maybe a personal story, even if I don't know anything about cigars, I could talk about someone else I know. So I'm not a fan of cigars, but my uncle loves them. And one year he went down to, I don't know, Cuba. And so he got into Cuba, but Cuban cigars are like illegal to bring them back into the United States. I don't know if that's still true or not, but it was. And so he got a boat, and he actually like got all these cigars and just got a boat and took a boat all the way back to Florida and like smuggled them into the United States. Isn't that interesting? That's not a real story, by the way. I just made that up. But the point is, I can tell a story about cigars even though I don't know anything about them. So I can talk, like, if the example is just like pick a topic and talk about it for 60 seconds, I could talk for an hour about something I don't know anything about. All right, just by making connections with other things, and then maybe this story leads to something else, and this story leads to something else. So you don't need to think about communication like a book report, where like someone is talking about something and you need to like follow along with that exactly as they're doing it. So I might take a conversation in a different direction depending on what I know or don't know about that. Or I could spend my time asking questions back to the person. So I say, I don't know anything about cigars, but I would love to learn. I think it would be interesting to learn about that. Can you tell me more? And then the other person can tell me more about that. Now, I think I just spoke for more than 60 seconds about cigars, but hopefully you get the idea. So it's not just about like knowing a lot of information about a topic. So I don't know any facts about cigars, really. Like I know people smoke cigars, but you don't like inhale the smoke, or at least I don't think you're supposed to. They're made from leaves, and you know, I know some other little things like that, but I'm not like an aficionado. I'll let you Google that word, but that's like someone who knows a lot about that, an aficionado. All right, smidgets, small donuts. Yes, they were called munchkins. I don't remember if they're still using that. What is the difference between in and on using a month or a year? Typically, when we have like a preposition like in or on, you can try to think about it visually. So if we have a period of time, like if this is a day and we're talking about the whole day as one thing. And you can think about this like a native speaker would. So native speakers don't think about vocabulary, they think about situations. And then what vocabulary do we use in that situation? So if I'm thinking about a period of time, it's like a box. And then I put something in that. So like I had a lot like in my day today. So I'm thinking about my day as like a container. So it was a busy day. I had a lot in my day. I had a lot in my day. So like many things I had to do in my day. But if we're talking about a calendar, where it's just like on this day, like I have like a dentist appointment on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. So natives are thinking about it differently depending on like just the basic idea. So it's not, you don't start with the grammar, you begin with the situation. This is how you think like a native. When people talk about thinking like a native, that's what this is. So how would a native explain that? If you ask them, why did you say like in this period of time, but not on that time or whatever? All right, so if I'm talking about like a specific time, I might say like at 2 o'clock. But generally, like I can just talk about in my day because it's like a period of time. Okay? So on the calendar, or even I mentioned earlier in this video, you can talk about something being in a calendar if it's more like thinking about it like a book. So both of these things are correct. It's just the situation is slightly different, or at least like you could think about it that way. So I could talk about something being on my calendar or in my calendar. Both of them would be correct. It's just how natives are thinking about them differently. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. So I want you to think first from the situation, then to the vocabulary. Don't begin with the vocabulary and then try to think about like logically how it works like that. Just begin with the situation, because natives will always explain it like that. They are not going to say, hey, this is a gerund, this is a past participle, and this is whatever. They're not going to explain the language like that. They're going to talk about when they use something. When do they use something? All right. Let's see here. Andres says, what do you think it would be? Or you just say, what do you think would be the best way to start learning English from scratch for someone who only speaks Spanish? Give them Frederick. If you are an absolute beginner of the language, or you are like trying to give it to a Spanish speaker, like a child or an adult who wants to learn the language, give them this app. So it's in the link is in the description below this video, Frederick. So this is the world's first app to let you teach yourself English all in English. And so you discover the language without needing like explanations or anything in Spanish or Chinese or French or anything else. So you should be learning it like a native. So it will teach you vocabulary, pronunciation, listening, grammar, all these things you will learn in the app. Also, I have a video series on the channel. You can look for the playlist. It's like Best Beginning English Grammar, I think is the name of it. But if you watch, if you show them those videos, I even put like too many, like I wanted to make sure other people who have, like they want to know the grammar rules or whatever, I put some of that in there, but most of the video is not about that. It's just helping you understand the language like a native. So teaching English as a first language. Let's see. And Juan says, making use of ChatGPT sometimes goes a long way, especially if you want to know if a sentence is natural sounding idiomatic. Yes, so you can get that as well. You can also look for, just go to Google and type in like a particular word or phrase and just look for examples of that. And then you can find, like, for sure natives are using that. And natives actually will use that, like they will use Google in the same way if they are testing like which word is more commonly used just by the number of searches for that thing. So if you type in one word and you only get 5 searches, but you get 2 million for another word, then you should probably use the second one. Let's see. Andrea says, I also noticed the shirt. Yes, I can tell the longtime fans of the channel, they pay attention to my clothing. If you have something better for me to wear, you can send it to me. I don't know, maybe a Hawaiian shirt or something. All right. I think I'm very simple. I don't care about fashion for me specifically. I haven't really found any kind of style that I would like wearing. Most of the time I'm just wearing like t-shirt and jeans or shorts or whatever. Let's see. Ella says, it would be nice to make a lesson about formal, informal examples using English. Have you not seen anything like that already? So check YouTube and see if someone has made something like that already, because like examples of formal and informal English might already be available. Harold says, teacher, do you think that if you start talking fast as a Dunkin' Donuts crew member, we won't be able to understand you? Haha, could be a challenge for us. Yes, I talk like that occasionally in some videos, but remember, it's a combination of speed and pronunciation and the vocabulary. So even if I could start speaking faster right now, and like you would probably understand what I'm saying because I'm still using the same vocabulary. All right, I'm not using any idioms or phrasal verbs or other things like that. I'm just communicating a little bit faster. All right, but I'm still blending my words pretty easily so you can hear what I'm saying. It still sounds native. But again, the tricky part is when I start mumbling, you can't really understand what I'm saying. I'm not like other people would understand what I'm saying, but maybe you don't care, or you don't know what I'm talking about. Or I start using references from movies and things like that, and then it starts getting really difficult for you at that point. So as I introduce more challenging things, it would become more difficult for people, for sure. But again, this is why we do that. We level people up in Fluent for Life. So you're not, if you continually watch YouTube videos of English teachers, you are not going to get to the level of understanding natives and communicating like they do. It's like trying to, get to the NBA, like the highest level of some sport or whatever, by only doing basic practicing in, with your local school or something like that. So you need access to that. You don't really need to practice speaking a lot. What you do need is just lots of input of those people. You need those kind of examples to hear how people really speak. That's how you need to do it. Let's see, how are we doing for time over here? All right, let's see. It is still prohibited. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Talking for a minute or two is normal practice at a university in the English teaching major, especially in the first class of oral communication. LOL, it was funny and stressful. Yes. And again, if you have specific requirements, like please explain how to do this technical thing and only talk about that, then it gets a little bit more challenging. But if you just have like free conversation about whatever, like your goal really is more just to keep the conversation interesting. And this is one of the things I do in Fluent for Life. So there are actually lots of lessons in Fluent for Life where you're not just learning like how I speak, like you're learning the vocabulary. If you actually watch full videos about like me talking with people, you'll see me keeping the conversation going. So I am directing the conversation or talking about this, getting more information about something, or not talking about something, or switching topics to something else. And you can see how I do that. And if you pay attention to the lessons, you really learn a lot about how natives do this, and you see so many examples of that you automatically get fluent, all right? But it just takes lots of examples to see that. I thought for 1 second we were talking about the animal cigar. This show is sponsored by Frederick. Yes, it should be sponsored by Frederick. You know, I don't have any sponsors, or you notice like there are no ads in my videos. You're welcome. So you don't have to click on ads and stuff to go through my content. And that's why, like, if my content is not good, I don't eat. So I need to make sure people are learning, and some of you join my programs, and that's the way my family survives. Hello from Canada, says Amina. Nice to see you there. I think that in English is not cigar, it's cicada. I think that in English is not cigar, it's a cicada. I don't know what you mean by that. There are lots of cicadas outside in Japan here right now, though. All right, hello from, I got that one already. As long as you are comfortable. Yes. Yes, mumbling sound like Travis Scott. Duran, I noticed some native English speakers are not that direct to the point on what they want to say. Yes, it happens, and you will get that. There are some people who are direct and some people who are not. And also culturally, you might have like people in New York, even within just New York State or New York City, you will have people who are being more direct, or you might have people in the Midwest in the United States where people are less direct, or you could even have, same thing in Japan. Like generally speaking, like in Japan, people are not as direct about what they want to say, and a lot of it is like, yeah, maybe we should think about doing something, possibly. What do you think about that? And like for me, I'm just like, let's do this, and I just say, hey, let's go, or whatever. But yes, there are different ways of communicating. All right. I think and a cicada around. I don't understand what that's referring to. Or is there like a sound? You hear a sound or something? Is that what you're talking about? Like the click, 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 that kind of sound or whatever. Is that annoying? Hopefully that's not annoying for people. I think, well, that sound right there is coming from the air conditioner, actually. I don't know how to turn that off, though, unfortunately. But I think we've come to the close of the video anyway, so we've been going for about 80 minutes. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I think that sound is kind of coming and going, but hopefully it's, I might have to turn that off, but then it gets super hot in here. Ooh. You don't want to see that, me like sweating more than I already am. But hopefully you have enjoyed this video. Do go back, if you're joining us a little bit late, go back and watch, and make sure you're taking more time with your vocabulary, like we have with the word on over here. If there are other things you'd like to learn more about, let me know. But my channel has covered really almost anything, especially the big ideas about how you should be learning the language. There's always more to learn, but if you're learning the right way, you certainly can get fluent much faster and more easily than by studying more traditional lessons. But remember, you need to get lots of input, lots of understandable messages, naturally varied review, studying the real vocabulary that people are using in conversations, and also seeing examples of native speakers doing that. So not just English teachers, but people who actually are using the language every day in an everyday way. All right. Let's see here. I think we got to the end. I think you should also have a super thanks button or something. Thank you for your knowledge. Oh, you mean like do super chats or whatever? You guys want to pay for super chats? Pay for super chats? Let's see. Open donation on the channel. Well, you can just, if you want to just give me money, give me money. That's okay. I don't mind about that. Let's say I noticed something very important. If you listen to a different native speakers on the same topic simultaneously, automatically improve your pronunciation and vocabulary. Yes, That is the plan. So the more you listen, you're just doing things the way natives are doing them. And that's the whole magic of learning English as a first language. So you just think, what would a native speaker do? A native speaker would only listen to one teacher, or would they listen to lots of different people? They'd listen to lots of different people. George Chan over there. George, let us know. I think you had an issue with Frederick on the last call, but let us know if it's working well for you. If it is, leave us a review. Also, anybody out there who has not tried Frederick, you can click on the link below and get that. This video is sponsored by Frederick. You should get Frederick. I don't know if you can say that if it's your own app, but anyway, it looks like that is the end of chat. So good thing we got through everybody. Pardon me if I skipped like any questions or anything. I was trying to go through that pretty quickly. But oh no, Harold is back. Let's see. Hey, thanks a lot, Drew. I'll try to listen to more people speaking on my job. Maybe. Yeah, just go to a bunch of different Dunkin' Donuts. If you go into Dunkin' Donuts every day for a week, you will understand more people. I guarantee you. At least speakers at Dunkin' Donuts. All right, so I'll try to listen to more people speaking on my job. It was nice to see you laughing. Glad to hear it. Have a wonderful day or night. Yes, so it is my, let's see, what time is it? 11:21 here in Nagasaki, Japan. Hey, wait a minute. How are we wait a minute. Forgot to plug in my computer. I'm wondering why that's all low over there. Okay, now we're cooking. I'm on now. All right. Well, thank you very much. Have a fantastic day, everyone out there. If you'd like to learn more about becoming a fluent English speaker and you'd like to speak better in the next 30 days or less, rather than just going through more YouTube videos if they aren't giving you the results you want, it's really just because you need to focus on something and learn it like a native. So if you'd like to do that, click on the link in the description below this video for Fluent for Life and also for Frederick, both of those programs. Well, I look forward to seeing you in those, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.